All right, sorry about that. Sorry about that crazy the crazy intro. I have not set up my stream deck, and apparently my mic's running a little hot. Let's see here. I'm manually switching stuff like a peasant. All right, let's see here. How's the audio level here on the wireless mic? I got that all set up there. Hopefully, as long as the dogs don't start screaming at each other, I will let them be out. So I'm looking at you, Comet. Come here. Comet, come here. Come here. One of you two. What about a treat? What would you guys want a treat? Oh, come here, puppy. Oh, I got a dog butt. Look at this. It's the weekly comment update. Here's comment. Look how big we are. Woo! Remo's like, can you put my friend back down? I want to play with him. Look at this big ham. All right, so we are going to be working on the Ender 7 doing an EZABL install. I am going to be using the EZABL Micro, which is the only recommended one we sell in our EZABL lineup for this printer because the hot end is so compact on it. There's just not much room in terms of... My headset would just stay on my ears. That'd be great. There's not much room in terms of space on the hot end, so the Micro is what's going to have to be put on there. I'm also going to be utilizing a separate Z cable, which we also include if you order from the Ender 7 EZABL page, which is linked below. It will include the correct size probe, the ABS mount that I'm going to be using to attach to the hot end, and the cable and everything. So, and you do need the LCD screen. Why is my mic... You guys see this? It keeps like going down. It's annoying me. I don't know if it got bent when it was in the drawer or what. Let's see. Hang on. All right. All right, we're just going to roll with it. So, anyways... yeah, so we're going to be putting the EZABL on here. We're going to do the firmware update, and I'm going to start going through and updating my slicer profile for it. Now, speaking of slicers, if you guys saw on the last stream, what, this is driving me nuts. You guys see this? It keeps going down. Hang on. Let me try to fix this. Why are we being stupid? Oh, there's a clip that's not clipped. Let's try that again. Come on, clip. Clip on there. All right, was that it? There's like little clips on this. Okay. I think that's a lot better. All right, we're just gonna roll with it. How's the audio quality? It's supposed to sit like right here on the side of your face, if memory serves correctly. But anyways, slicers. So I had purchased the update to S3D5, and I'm going back to 4.0, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of reasons why before we get into this. One of the main reasons here, is, do you see this? All the profiles are selected by default. If I go here and change between this printer, which is the Alpha EZ300. So I'm going to go for my smallest printer. So Ender 2 Pro, okay? So we got our... they move things around. Where are the settings here for the... there we go. Output. So 165, 165, 180, okay? If I hit OK, look at the preview. It's still a, like, 300 by 3... Okay. Hey, nope, we're going in the crate. Crate! Comment! Get in the crate. Get in the crate. Hang on. We cannot be yapping. Lay down. Oh. Should have just crated him. Can't have him yapping while we're doing the stream. Anyway, so, you see the problem here? It's not changing the bed size. So I can click Ender 6. I can click my Tina 2. I can click Ziltech Gear. I can click my AlphaWise U10, which is the biggest printer I have. Do you guys see the problem here? This is a huge problem. How the hell did the stupid engineers at Simplify not do basic testing like this? How the hell did you guys let this get past QA? And to make matters worse, I've emailed them and nobody's gotten back to us. So honestly, if they don't fix this by the end of the week, like not this week, but next week, I'm just going to tell them to give me my money back. And if they don't respond, I'm just going to open a chargeback. Because this is, like, we bought 4 licenses, which was $250 something with taxes and fees. But look at this. How do you guys not check something as simple as changing between your processes for different printers doesn't change the damn size? Like, this is a huge problem. Now, I'm curious to see, like, maybe if I have a profile, because you can see there's no profiles here, but all my settings carry over, which is good. So let me see. Let me save as new. So I'm going to call this Ender 3. I'll just put my initials there. Now, if I change this to, let's do here, save as new, Ender 2 Pro, TDH. Is it going to change? Like, it has have to do with some of the profiles not being saved? Nope. Never had an issue with this in the last one. This right here, this one thing right here is a huge problem. If you guys notice on the Ask Tim when I tried to use their multi process, like the different Z heights, it crashed. And I was like, okay, like that's a new feature. I'm not going to worry about it. But this right here is a showstopper for us. Like this completely changed. This is ignoring all this. So now I'm going to try dragging and dropping here. Let me see. So in the previous one, I could drag and drop, and it looks like it's working now. It was not working on the stream last time. I don't know why not. Hang on one second. The dog doesn't know what you say unless you literally yell at him. Tell him lay down and enough because he was whining again. Anyways, so that does work. I don't know what was happening the first time. But so here. So if I try to prepare to print here, look, it selects all the processes again. So I have to go select none, and I got to scroll through my list and select the one, even though I have it selected right here, and then hit OK, and then it'll slice it. But look at, if I if I go to print this, it's not actually going to even be anywhere close on the bed. Like, I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed. Like, I don't know if there's an option to, like, yeah, there's nothing in here to change it. So, like, I mean, this is terrible. So, and the other thing, too, is with the previous licenses, if you bought a license, you got 2 installs. So I could have it on my desktop and my laptop, okay? So we had 4 licenses, so I could have 8 installs. They're all on our computers here. My desktop, like, I personally have 4 computers I use. I have this main one. I use this like 80% of the time. I have my laptop. I have my secondary office downstairs, and then I have another desk in the print farm. So I have 4 computers. So my 2 licenses that I purchased, I could have all 4 of those activated. Now, if I want to have it on all of them, my laptop, my desktop, my basement computer, and the shop computer, like, I'm the only one using all the licenses, okay, or using those installs. Before, my 2 licenses covered all 4 of those computers being activated at the same time. Now, that will use up all my licenses, so I mean, I got to fork over another money. I like Simplify 3D. I like the version 4, but just because I like it doesn't mean I'm going to be a simp for them. I see people defending them. The software is trash. Version 5 is trash. It was clearly rushed to market. It feels like a money grab. I'm going to stay on version 4, and I'm going to start planning my exit to go to, I think Super Slicer is where I'm going to go. But like, this is terrible. Like, I've been all for their software. I had really high hopes. We waited literally years for this update, and something as basic as not having the proper preview and not obeying the bounds of the printer's build volume is a huge oversight and shows that you guys just didn't give a shit. You guys just rushed this out the door, try to get a money grab. I'm not okay with it. Like, it is absolute garbage. So I'm literally going to, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to deactivate this, and I'm going to go back to my old version. So let's see. I'm going to deactivate the product. Let's see if that'll do it. And I still have the old one installed. Let's see. Profiles do change bed sizes. You are wrong, and I will show you. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the old one. I'm just going to uninstall it so I don't accidentally use it. So this is probably this one, 5.0. Yeah, this version 5 is hot garbage. Do not buy it until they fix these. I have no faith in them to patch it. Would you like to deactivate? I already did that, but sure, let's do it again just to be sure. Yes. Okay. So it's probably because I already deactivated it. Now, let's see. Simplify 3D. Here's my 412 execute. Let's load that up. I'm probably going to have to log in. There we go. Let me pull up my password manager here. And I'm going to copy that and paste it in. And let me show you guys. Yeah, it's... I don't care how much I like it. I'm not going to defend crappy software. Not going to do it. I see a lot of people simping for them. You're not going to see me doing that. All right, so here, watch. Ender 3, double click. Oh, look at that. The build volume changes. So the idiot in chat that's saying, The bed size was set in tools option machine profile. Didn't change the bed size. It does. Yeah, here. Watch. I'll do it again. And I'll do it again. You're wrong. I have been using this software for 5 years. I think I would know what I'm talking about. So these are different size printer beds. Look at that. It changes. Ender 2 Pro, Ender 3, CR10. That's what's supposed to happen. This is a Ziltech gear, which is the same build volume, which is why it didn't change. But here we go. Tina 2. Okay, here's a Tina 2, probably the smallest profile I have. And let's go to the biggest printer I have, which is like the Alphawise U10. Look at that. That's what's supposed to happen. So that way when you're slicing, things are actually accurate. This grid is set values of millimeters. So this needs to change when you're switching between your processes, okay? And as I showed you guys by saving my profiles and then switching between the processes that have the profiles attached to them, it still didn't change this. So this is a huge thing. How the hell did you guys not do basic testing? Like, this is really shitty. Like that right there. Here's another thing. If I go to for my process, so if we notice here, let me close out of this. Let me load it back up here. Okay, loads right up. Let me pull a file in here. So you notice it doesn't select all of the processes. Okay, so I can double click my Ender 3, hit OK. It'll apply that. I'll do a Control R to center range, prepare to print, and look at the one I had selected over here is selected. I can just hit enter. Like, so usually what I do is I drop it in, hit prepare to print, hit enter, and then I'd have my file. You know, and again, here's a different profile, prepare to print, and it slices it for that profile. So whatever's selected over here is automatically selected in here. I'm just going to stick with 4.1.2. The other thing that sucks is, and I'll show you guys this in the licensing portal. Let me log into their licensing portal here. Looks like I'm already logged in. All right, so license management. If we go here, you can see V5 is not activated at all. You only have 1 activation per license. You can't have 2 like you had before. So you're getting half the activations for more money, because what are they selling this for now? Like $200 something? Let's see. Yeah, $200 per user per year. Like, you're giving us less, you're giving us buggy software right now. Like, I think this is the nail in the coffin for me to get rid of S3D. Because this is a huge letdown. You guys, the fact that you guys didn't catch the whole basic things, such as changing your actual build area based on your process or profile, shows me that you guys didn't test shit. You just rushed it out the door. Like, this is a very basic setting. How the hell was this missed? Like, how the hell was this missed? Like, seriously. It's such garbage. Let's see. I'm curious to see if they even replied to my post. I made a post on their forum here, and it was polite. I'm trying to see. I'm going to the user community. Let's see. I'm trying to see if they actually allowed me to post it. There's a ton of files here, or a ton of things. I think Nearies. I don't know if that's the same Nearies. I would assume it is. Cannot activate. Do they show my? Can I see my posts? Oh. I thought I was logged in. Apparently not. All right, let's go back. Resources. I think it's resources. Yeah, user community. Did they approve my post? Because when I was not logged in, I did not see it there. Jansen Day. That sounds familiar. Here. Printer bed size not updated. They still have not approved this. Still have not approved this. Detailed information here. You know, let's say I have a CR10, Ender 3. If I make the CR10 active, I assume my preview window is a 300 by 304 size. If I double click the Ender 3 process in V4, it'll change the boundary boxes in the preview window to be the 220 by 220 by 250 size. It does not update it, which means things are sliced out of bounds. So that's the other thing. It slices it incorrectly still. So, yeah. They've approved other posts, so let's see. I'm assuming so. Yeah, here. So this post is approved. This was 1:34 p.m. Mine was 12:24 p.m. So they're not approving these. Is this one? Yeah, do you see this? They didn't approve my post here. It will, you guys cannot see this post. Like if I open in a private window, will it even show it? It doesn't show it. So are they censoring stuff that... Oh, wait, here. Build process. Build plate visuals not switching with process selection, which is what I just showed. Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of a mess. V5 drops a turd. Okay, that's an accurate description. Yeah. Anyways, I might do a separate video. Right now I'm going to say save your money. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So let's get into the Ender 7. I'm going to stick with Simplify 412. You know, it works correctly for me. So they'll fix it in version 6 in 10 years. Yeah, that's the other thing. I have zero confidence that they're going to patch this quickly. So I'm going to give them to the end of next week to even get back to me. If they don't get back to me, I'm just going to open a chargeback. Because I told them, is like, I just want a refund. We'll stick on version 4 until you guys fix the bugs. It's not worth the money. It's not worth the money. Yeah, 3D experience. Honestly, after all these years, I expected it to be a solid release. Yeah, I did too. I'm really disappointed. I was very excited about it. I was ready, you know, literally gave them my money, you know, shut up and take my money, and now I'm just regretting it. So, yeah. All right, let's get into what we're all here for. And we're going to go over this, and you're going to have to excuse the layer of dust on my bed because this has been sitting here for a couple weeks now, and I just realized I have to manually switch my screens here because I don't have my stream deck set up. All right. So this is the cable I'm talking about. This is the Enders 5, 6, 7. We use this for a couple, or Ender 5 Plus 6 and 7 cable. It's got a 2-pin and a 3-pin on it. We do sell JST kits. So you can make your own, but we sell these for like literally a couple dollars. We're going to be using the EZABL Micro with the Ender 7 ABS mount. So these are the same mounts you'll get if you order them from us. This is printed in ABS. We also, I think we have in PLA. I go ABS because if I enclose something in the future, or possibly enclose a printer, this one I just want my parts in ABS. I got our EZABL control board, okay? That drives a sensor. And then I've got the wire, and I've already pre-stripped these because I was messing around with this on another printer. So the first thing we're going to do, which is what we do on every single printer that we put an EZABL on, aside from, I think, the Chiron. Everyone gets their end stop neutered, okay? So this end stop is going to come off here. We're not going to need this anymore. The actual sensor itself is going to be the Z end stop. And you're going to need to take off the screws that hold down this plastic cover. So you can see I've been in here before. There's screws around the top. There's 4 on the front, 2 on each of the sides, and then 4 on the back. And then you kind of pull up on this, like kind of pull out the ends here. There's clips. There we go. And this comes up. And why we want to do this is we want to get around to the back. Excuse my camera angle. I'm coming around to the other side of the printer. And we're going to want to disconnect the Z end stop, okay? All right. So we just want to get in here. And this is the cable for the Z end stop. There is hot snot on here, which Creality loves their hot snot. And I'm just going to kind of pick at it. See if I can get a better shot in here. Get you guys up close and personal. We're going to do an ASMR install of the EZABL on the Ender 7. Okay. The first thing we're going to want to do is peel back the hot snot that Creality puts on here to prevent things from coming out during shipping, okay? We're going to do that. I have no fingernails because I bite them like a heathen. So I'm going to get my little Leatherman out here, and we're going to pick at this, okay? We're going to pick at the hot snot. So it comes off the connector, okay? want to loosen up that little connector right there. There we go. Now we're going to disconnect it, okay? So you see the one marked Z? We're going to take the one marked Z and we're going to unplug it. We're going to push it down through the hole. There you go. You just saw me finger my Ender 7's hole. I don't know if it liked it or not because it's a machine. All right. So there we go. Let me come back around to the other side. Or actually, I lied. We're not going to come around to the other side. I'm just going to take it off right here. So it looks like it's 2 2mm hex heads, I would say. I wish I could see chat right now. But I'm going to use my handy-dandy TS3D precision screwdriver set, which you can get on the TS3D shop. We're not Linus Tech Tips, but we do have our own tools. All right. I'm going to have to move this bed out of the way. Oh, that's so crispy. All right. Go ahead and take those 2 screws out that hold the Z and stop in. All right, we got one. And we got number 2. Now, you could leave the end stop physically mounted, but you're going to want to disconnect it because we're going to go underneath and disconnect it from the board and plug that cable in I showed earlier. All right. So just remember to put those screws back in. I had this taken apart prior because I was poking around in there. I was getting my grubby little fingers in there. All right. And now we're going to expose its bottom. Now, before you put your printer on its back, disconnect the hotbed cable because otherwise you will damage it. I had a close call and almost killed mine, so. All right. Now we need to take the bottom panel off. Am I zoomed all the way out? I guess I am. You guys will just have to deal with this. And I need a 2.5 for these bottom screws. You know what? I'm going to be lazy, and we're going to get the power tools. Because there's a lot of screws. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the TH3D screwdriver set, we also include one of these guys. So you can use the bits and other tools. So we don't have to use our hands like a peasant. Make sure this is not on hammer drill. That would be bad. Oh, so much faster. Except these screws, Crowley screws like to stick on these bits sometimes. No! Damn it, RIP headphone users. All right. It's not a stream until I drop something. I already dropped a screw, so. All right. I don't know why these screws like stick on the head of these bits. These are like the screws on this Ender 7 do this all the time. I don't know why. Why do they have so many screws on this bottom panel? Okay, we're at the last one. I'm going to put these in my little screw bin. There's already other screws. One's from the top and one's from the Dual Z kit replacement, which will then get sorted into my bin of random screws because they're no longer needed on the printer with the Dual Z kit installed. All right, so I'm going to pop the cover off here, and we've got the LCD kit on, so we want to kind of angle it out to get out from there. And let's see what we're working with here in terms of the Z end stuff. So here we go. So if we look at the board, now we're in the printer's nether regions. Okay, our end stop connection is right here. Okay, right here. And they actually label it. So you see where it says Z here? Right there. We need to pull this out. Okay, this is just going to chill there. It's no longer needed. And then we're going to take the 2-pin end of the cable. Okay. Take the 2-pin end of the cable. We're going to go ahead and plug it in where we unplug that one. Okay. So there we go. There's our new Z end stop cable. The next thing we need to do is hook up power. So we're going to come off of the power supply. I have not changed this out to a manual yet. I will. Maybe I'll do it this stream. I don't know. I think I closed Teams so I don't get bombarded with notifications. But Tor, I think you're watching. If you are, can you ping Sean and ask him? Oh, wait, hang on. I might already have a 24 sitting in here. I have like a pile of power supplies here. I got a 5. I got a Creality knockoff 24. And, oh, look at that. I have a 24. All right. Well, instead of wasting new inventory, I've got a, meanwhile, this is probably pulled from a printer I decommissioned or something, but it's in my working pile. So we're going to switch this out too. Because I do not trust these. How many of you guys watching have had these Creality ones go on here? Because I get at least 1 or 2 comments a week on our videos talking about these power supplies, saying that theirs failed in like a month and a half. All right. Trying to think of the order I want to do things in. Let's just switch this out. All right. Make sure the printer's unplugged. If you're not sure if it's plugged in or not, just lick these terminals. And if you get shocked, then it's plugged in. If you don't get shocked, then unplug it. I'm kidding. Don't lick these terminals or touch them. It's a joke. Make sure it's unplugged. You can't really joke. Well, you can. But some people are kind of dumb and they'll take you seriously even if you're trying to make a joke. All right. We're going to go ahead and disconnect all these. Just going to switch this out now. What is it? 4 screws? 2 screws? These 2 screws here. And we also sell these power supplies in our shop. These are the 350 watt Meanwell, 24 volts. And we're going to switch these out. Because that's what I do. We don't use the Creality knockoff power supplies. I don't want to risk having it, you know, catch on fire in the worst case scenario. Or, you know, go out and take components with it. Because that's what they usually do. If they go out, they like to surge lines and send like 100 volts plus into these when they go. All right, so our line is the brown here, it looks like. Yeah, so if you're not sure which one's the line and the neutral, usually the one that's switched is the line. And we can see here, this is switched. So there's the brown. We're going to take those off, and then I'm going to get my Allen key in here. I think that's a 3 mil. I'm sad because I lost my Bondhus Allen key and my 3 mil, so I'm using like some, I don't know, it's one that came with a printer, but I like my Bondhus one. Is it a 3 mil? I got duped. It's a 2.5. All right. I do like Bondhus. So like I use my TH3D screwdriver kit for a lot of things, but for Allen keys, like I really like the Bondhus stuff. They're not cheap. I'm pretty sure this Bondhus kit costs more than my entire screwdriver kit. But you know what? It's made in America, and it does its one job great. All right, let's see. Is there... And there's another screw down. And a grounding washer. Where the hell did that screw go? One down here. What is this? Do you guys see this? Oh, excuse me. What the hell is that screw there for? Is that literally pressing on the power supply? Because there's no screws up top. Do they literally have this like sandwich in here with this screw? Oh my god, they do. Oh dear god. Alrighty. I mean, I guess that works. I'm going to make sure my switch is set to 115 because we're in the US. If you buy a power supply from us, they typically will come set to 230. So if you're in the US or Canada or somewhere else that they use 110, 120, 115, make sure it's set to 115. And this should just fit right in because the one that it came with is a knockoff of this one. This is the real deal here. You know, and if you guys buy Meanwhile power supplies from power supplies from us, you will get a genuine mean well. You know, so you don't have to play Amazon or eBay roulette. I guarantee every single one of our mean wells will pass the actual mean well validation check. They're from genuine mean well suppliers. I have gotten fake mean wells from eBay sellers and Amazon sellers, so do with that what you will. Obviously, I sell these, but I'm not going to sell you guys garbage, so. And I'm willing to bet we're within a couple bucks of them. All right. So you can see that's not that hard to switch out. 3 bolts here, then all the screw terminals. I'll go ahead and tighten this janky ass thing down here. And I guess it helps hold it in. Gonna sandwich on there. I mean, okay, that'll do. Okay. Let's go ahead and reconnect these. So remember we said line was the brown. Go ahead and put that in here. And I'm going to double check the power output because sometimes I'll mess with the power output on these if I'm like testing things because they are adjustable to a certain point. And I'll show you guys how to adjust your mean well power supply. All right, so this cable is not plugged in. We're going to plug it in, and then I'm going to test this, make sure the power comes on. I'm only doing this because this is a used power supply that I've had on my bench. So you can see the light comes on there. Okay, I'm going to take my multimeter and just double check that we're sitting around 24 volts. Doesn't have to be exact, but you want it 24 to 25 is usually what I set my printers on. So I'm going to take my multimeter here. Put that right there. We're going to go ahead and test. Positive. Negative, what are we at? We're at 24.19, whatever. Okay. It's within specs. We're going to go ahead and turn that off. And now here's the thing. The power supply has capacitors. They store power. I turned off the power. Okay. You see we still have voltage on there? If I go again here. Still voltage. You see that? The light's still on. It's unplugged. So that's why if you had just unplugged your printer, don't go in here messing with this or touch those terminals because you still have power. There it goes. Now it's dropping down. See it? Yeah, capacitors are fun. All right. So, all right, let's get all these connected now. These are the main power plugs for the board. And we are going to need to come in on here and hook up power for the EZABL. And I'm going to slide that under one of the terminals for the stepper motor. So these thinner wires here with the crimps, these are actually for the stepper motors. And just make sure to match, you know, red to positive, black to negative. I don't know if you guys noticed. How many of you guys noticed that I put crimp ferrules on all the plugs already in here? Do you guys see that? I put crimp ferrules on these already. If you guys didn't do that to your printer, oh, here, maybe you can't see. But on the bed and the main power in, I did not do it to these right here because these are not high current. These are just for the hot end. But the bed stuff and stuff that's going to pull current, you definitely want to get rid of those tinned ends because like all these dang Chinese companies, they like to tin their wires, and tin wires will literally cause a fire at some point. It's almost, I would say it's almost guaranteed. Like it's actually a fire hazard. It's not ooga booga, I'm trying to scare you by my crimp ferrules. You can just cut them off and strip the wire and put bare wire. Bare wire is even better than tinned wires. So as our late buddy 3D Jimmy said, tinned wires are a terminal issue. Do you get it? I miss that guy. He was a good guy. All right. Let's get our power ran for this. So when you get this from us, you'll get this wire and it will not be stripped. And inside this white wire is actually 2 conductors of solid core wire. So we like using solid core because it's very easy to work with. It's easy to get in the terminals. I'm actually just going to slip it under here. So this is what I usually do. I loosen one of these up, put it in. There's my black to negative. Let's slip that under there. Come on. All sneaky beaky like. Tighten it down. Hey, where's my Phillips? Need my actual Phillips here. I'm trying to use this flathead like a dingus. Oh wait, here's a big flathead. Here we go. We'll get the chooch flathead out. Will that fit in there? It sure will. All right, is that in there? Nope. Didn't get it under there. Let's try it with one of the smaller terminals. I'm just going to separate these a little bit. And I want it to look nice, so I'm going to trim it. What? How the hell do I not have any side cutters in my office? Oh, wait, I lied. I got the China Special ones here. Looking for my nice ones. Come on. All right. Is that the one I loosened up? That is. All right. Sneak that under there. Make sure it gets under the terminal. Tighten it down. There we go. And I'm going to put this under the other small terminal here. And sneak that in there. All right. That's another thing with the solid core wire. It's a lot easier to go into terminals. And the ABL does not require a ton of current, so doing this is fine. If you want to put a fork on it, you can, but these work fine. All my printers are installed like this, and again, it's solid core wire here. So, all right. So there's our power and our ZN stop. Let's go and back up top and mount the sensor, and then we're going to see where we're going to mount the EZABL control board. Now, I have not installed this actually on the printer. When I tested it, it was like a temporary install. So I didn't route the wires or anything. So I usually will route my sensor wire with the existing wire loom. Now, I don't know if there's extra room in here. Is this a split loom? This is not a split loom. Okay, so we're not going to be able to feed it through here. So we're just going to tie it onto this. And how this mount works is we're going to be using the existing screw for the fan shroud here. So this one right here. And then we're going to be going into the bottom hole here. So you can see here, this lines up with that top hole. This lines up with the bottom one. Now on mine, the second hole down, which is actually for their BL Touch, because I don't know if they have it out or they planned on doing it. That was for the BL Touch bracket, and mine hasn't even tapped. So if I was a normal person and wanted to use their BL Touch kit, I actually couldn't even install it because they forgot to tap that hole. Now, if you guys remember, when we took the ZN stop off, we got two M3 screws from it. And I'm going to use one of those M3 screws I took off for the mount. So you don't actually need any extra screws. You just take one of the M3 screws that came off the ZN stop and use that. So this uses the included screws. When I'm designing this stuff, I try to make it so you can reuse included hardware so you're not having to hunt around. So I'm going to put the one I took off of the shroud into the top hole, and we're going to put this in. I already have a sensor mounted in here, so I'm not going to fully tighten this down. I'm just going to get snug. And then this one uses a 2mm. I believe it's a smaller one. I think it's a 2. Yep. And I'm going to put that in. And just kind of move the bracket till I find the hole. There we go. I found the hole. And we're going to put this in. So I'm going to tighten down this one. Just snug it up. And then I'm going to tighten down the one that holds the shroud. So this is where the sensor goes. All right, so there we go. Our sensor mounts on the printer. And look how nice and clean that is back there. Look at that. So the sensor just hides out right there. And we will set the distance on the sensor here, but you can just throw it in here like I did. And now I'm going to route this cable along this tubing here. and then we're going to get it into the bottom of the printer. So I'm going to come over here. You want to leave a little extra slack for strain relief. Now, we do include zip ties. Somebody ran off with my zip ties, apparently, so I got to find them. I was like, feeling like I was missing something. It's the zip ties. I got to figure out where my bag of zip ties are. I think I found it. Found my assortment down here. But we do include zip ties with the kits if you buy them from us. I don't have any of the small ones in here, so bear with me just a moment. I need to go get some. Here we go. Zip ties. We include the nice black nylon ones. So whenever you install an EZABL, you want to leave some slack, okay? Just like a little loop here. And I don't mean a literal loop, just like a little bloop, okay, for strain relief. So I'm going to secure this to the tubing here with the included zip ties. Are any of you following along at home quite literally with your printers right now? I'm just curious. Let me know. I'm thinking after this stream is done, I will chop off the beginning S3D rant portion because I'm planning on doing a separate video for the S3D rant about the new version. All right. Cable management. Love me some cable management. And I'm following the curve of the wire and the curve of this tubing here and trying to match it up, okay? And let's go ahead and snip these. Go ahead and neuter our zip ties. Remember to spay and neuter your zip ties. You don't want them reproducing on the printer or getting into trouble, okay? All right, so we're going to come around to the back. And I'm probably going to use a couple back here. You can see here, cable's on there. We're all good. I'm not a big fan of this hose, tubing, sleeving, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm not a fan of it. All right. So I'm just going to come down. I'm just going to follow the existing cable here because we're going to go right into the back. So I'm just going to have this come here. You know what? We're just going to zip it right to the clips. Okay, so I'm going to put this. I should be able to fish this behind the clips. Yes, I can. There we go. All right. I'm going to leave a little more slack up there. Okay. And then I'm going to feed this into the grommet here. We should be able to feed this in. I would assume so. Looks like it's large enough. Yep. So go ahead and push that all the way in. Look at that. How's that for a clean install? And we're going to hide the ABL box in the base of the printer. That's the other reason. So here's the thing. You could theoretically cut the cable off of the ZN stop and put the control box up here, but this is so much nicer. Do you guys agree? Isn't this such a cleaner install? Putting the control box underneath. What do you guys think? Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay. So now, this printer does have a few extra standoffs here. So whenever I'm putting an EZABL, because this is an aftermarket thing, You know, we put this out for many printers. You got to kind of use your common sense and route things. So our EZABL control box has a bunch of holes in it for you to screw it on. You don't need a ton of anchorage to actually screw this in. So I'm going to put this actually, can I put it right here on this stud here? I can. So I'm going to put this right here. Okay. And I'm trying to use the screws that came off the printer. And so remember, we've got that one other screw from the ZN stop. We're going to use that to put it through because these are actually M3 size holes. So here's the side with the sensor, okay? And actually, you know what? I'm going to hook the power cable up before I do this because it's easier to do it with the box not mounted. So let me get my little precision screwdriver here. Because this is the micro kit, this does not include a screwdriver. Because the probe is actually pre-calibrated at a fixed distance. So I'm going to grab my screwdriver kit. And I'm going to loosen up my positive and negative terminals here on the EZABL board. I'll zoom in to get you guys a nice tighter picture. So you can see there, we've got our positive and our negative. And red is positive, black is negative. So we're going to go ahead and put these in the screw terminals. And this is why I like the solid core wire. Because look how nice that is to go in there. Make sure the wires are all the way in. And go ahead and snug up the screws. You do not need to hulk these down. Do you see how small the screw terminal is? Do not hulk it down unless you want to buy a replacement. All right, so there we go. All right. So I'm also going to connect my ZN stop. So this cable, okay, the ZN stop goes to the white plug here. Oh, come on, focus. There you go. And do not snap the cover on because we need to make sure if we need to flip the switch on the board now. You see this little switch here? This flips the signal lines on the ZN stop, and we might need to flip this. We might not. And I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So don't put the lid back on. The lid snaps on really nice and tight. It does not like to come off. So I'm going to plug my sensor in. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and screw this onto the post with the last M3 screw I took off the ZN stop. Let me see if I can angle that down for you guys. And I'm going to put this right here between the stepper drivers. I'm going to go onto this post here. Stop focusing on the cable. Damn autofocus. I'm going to put it onto the post here and through this screw hole right there. I'm going to put the screw through that. And again, these are just the screws that were on the printer. Typically, whenever you work on a machine, you're putting the ABL, you end up with a couple extra screws, which is nice because then you can use them to do other things. Whether that's putting them in your screw bin, your collection that I know you all have, or that is using them for other things. You can see here, it doesn't need much to hold it. It's a very light little board. Just going to tighten this down. And then I'm going to tuck this wire underneath here so it's out of the way. And let's do some cable management. So I'm going to take the ZN stop here, kind of put this underneath. I'm going to do this. I'm going to route this behind these. I'm going to use these existing cables here to hold it. Route this behind these. And then come up like that. Oh, look how nice that looks. And then we still have room to snap our lid on when we're done. I'm going to just take the wire here, the power wire. I'm just going to zip tie this extra wire up over here. All right. You just zip tie this onto the other power wires. Look at that. Why is this camera not autofocusing today? It's like it's got ADHD or something. All right. So there we go. So now this is it. This is installed. The only thing I have to do is update the firmware and calibrate the sensor. That's it. So let's go ahead and get the sensor mounted at the correct distance. And then we're going to go ahead and go over the firmware here. I might take a short 5-minute break because the dogs are whining. But let's go ahead and get the sensor mounted. So the easiest thing to do is to bring your bed up, okay? And you can do this before you update the sensor. Now, if you notice here, I got some shmoo on the nozzle, so we're going to want to get rid of that. So I'm going to plug it back in. Turn it on. And at this point, you can test the sensor. If you touch it, you should see the light come on. You see the light coming on? On these, they're just at the very top. You see the light? Okay, so that's got power. That means it's working. If you looked at the EZABL control board in the bottom, it will also be lighting up green all the time. And then when you touch the sensor, it'll light up red as well as green. So I'm going to go ahead and just move my bed up. I'm just assisting it. And I'm going to preheat my nozzle. I got to reconnect my bed. I'll probably do that after I'm done in the bottom. So we're going to let that heat up because you want to get the shmoo off it. Do you see the shmoo? You guys see the shmoo? I see the shmoo. There's shmoo on my nozzle. You see it? We got to get rid of that. I can't do that when it's all hard. We're at like 64C right now. Hey, there we go. I need to put this in manual focus. This thing is driving me nuts. Come on. There we go. Look at that. It's amazing. All right, and the reason I want to do that is we want to get the nozzle on the bed. Okay, so I'm going to move the bed. I'm manually doing this. So I'm going to put the nozzle on the bed. Try to get this as close in as possible. Now, I think I already have this set at the correct height. But you want to adjust the sensor so it's 1 millimeter higher than the nozzle. So with the nozzle on the bed, pretty damn close there. We want to have it 1 millimeter off the bed. So 1 millimeter higher than the nozzle, and then 1 millimeter off bed. So I'm going to tell the bed, I'll go to my screen, I'm going motion, move axis, move Z, move 1 millimeter, and I'm going to tell it to move it 1. So you see that? So there should be a total of 2 millimeter distance. So I'm going to adjust this sensor here. So there's nuts on the top. You need to loosen this up. Go lay down. I'll let you out in a little bit. Go. Stop being pacey. You guys were just out. I know you're messing with me. All right. All right, so I'm going to loosen this up. Loosen the top nut up. And you can see the sensor is going to start coming down. Now I'm going to move it back so the nozzle's touching. I could probably actually go even a little bit more. Let me see. I'm going to have to manually move it. Hang on, I got to turn the motors off. Because you can see there was some shmoo still on the nozzle. Okay, disable steppers. Let me see. Okay, nozzle's on the bed. So that's about, I want to say it's about 1 millimeter. I'm going to get it a little bit further so you can see. I'm going to go up a little bit higher. So the thing that's going to set the distance is really that top one, and the bottom one's going to lock it in. All right. So I'm happy with that. So basically, we want the sensor to trigger when the nozzle is 1 millimeter off the bed. That's what we want. And that's what mounting this is. So these are calibrated anywhere from 2 to 3 millimeters distance for the trigger distance. I'm actually going to move this bed down. And so I can get in here with my pliers and tighten this bottom nut off. Or tighten this bottom nut up. All right. There we go. And what we want to see is when the bed is just about to touch the nozzle, that the sensor light triggers. So If you mount it too high up, the nozzle will touch the bed before the sensor triggers. So I'm going to slowly move the bed up manually until the sensor light turns on. And I'm just checking to make sure I have it at the right distance. Okay, so right there, the sensor's turning on. So do you see there? It's detecting the bed before the nozzle touches. So now I can update the firmware. Before that, I got to go take care of these dogs because they are sitting here whining, and the whining like just is the bane of my existence. So I'll be right back. So take 5 and put a song on, and we'll be back, okay? All right, so we're gonna do the firmware now. So we're gonna go to our website, support.th3dstudio.com. I'm gonna go to the unified firmware, click Creality, Ender 6. And you see here Ender 6 models. And then you're gonna want to go down and download the Unified 2 for Creality V4X boards. And this is a stock board, so this firmware is just open. You don't have to pay for it or anything. And I'm going to go ahead and open this. There's our live chat. And I'm going to go ahead and extract this. I'm going to put this just in Ender 6, or sorry. Oh, wait, Ender 6. Oh, my God. Ender 7. Wrong one. Ender 7. Don't download the Ender 6 firmware. Ender 7. Although I think it's the same firmware file. I think it is. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, I think it is a different one. Oh, because it's this weird board. Yeah, it is a different one. Okay, so we want the Ender 7 firmware, not the Ender 6. I thought we were working on the Ender 7 or Ender 6 for some reason. Ender 6 firmware. Or Ender 7 firmware. God dang it. Holy crap, why am I messing these up? All right, the Ender 7 firmware. So we're going to open the zip file. We're going to extract this. I'm going to call this Ender 7 EZABL. I'm just extracting these files to a folder on my computer. You can put it wherever you want. I'm going to extract that, and then I'm going to go to Visual Studio Code, hit Open Folder. If you don't have this option, you go to File, Open Folder, and then I'm going to paste that in here, and we want to double-click the firmware folder, okay? And then hit Select Folder. Now it's going to open the firmware up. They started doing this weird thing. Do you trust the authors of the files in this folder? I don't know. I don't know if I trust myself. Yes, so check trust the authors. Yes. And then we're going to go on the left-hand side here. I think I can make this bigger. Let me see. There we go. I'm going to go expand Marlin here. Go to configuration.h. And, oh yeah, it's asking me to install recommended extensions. Because I forgot, I have not actually used Visual Studio Code since I reformatted. All right. So, we're going to just uncomment Ender 7. And we're going to go down and uncomment the EZABL probe settings. Where the hell did I put those? Oh, right here. It's right here. Because there's not that many options for this printer. So, Ender 7 OEM micro mount. Uncomment that. And I'm going to do a Control S. And you don't have to do this. I like doing this just because if my printer has the bigger CPU, I want to compile for that. Now, you can flash the 256K build on a 512K CPU. You just don't want to do it the other way around. Now, I believe this printer came with a 512K chip. And the way you can identify that is by looking at the CPU. So let me switch over here and I'll show you what that looks like. So on the CPU itself, there are part numbers, okay? Can I zoom in any further? Yes, I can. So you see that there? You see the part number? STM32F or STM32F103 RET6. That means I have a 512K CPU. So I've got the good one. So I'm going to go back to my platform.io.ini file and open up the platform.io ini file here. So it's on the left. So we had opened configuration H. I'm going to double click this. And you don't have to do this. I'm just going to make sure I have the bigger build enabled in case I want to add more stuff down the road. And you can see here, we go over what to change this default environment string to, and it's literally one difference. So here's the 256K, which is the default, and we do this just in case you don't check it. It doesn't hurt anything to flash the 256K build on a 512K. You just don't want to do the other way around. And the only difference is this is, instead of a C, it's an E. And then I'm going to save this. So at that point, the firmware's done. Literally, I'm not even joking. This is done. So I can go ahead and click the little checkbox here, and if Visual Studio doesn't hate me, because this is my first time compiling on this new install Windows, we should have a firmware file. So I know I just had a little micro SD card floating around here. Where did I put it? It's right here. I'm going to take a micro SD card and put it into my SD reader. And I need a little adapter because my SD reader is a full-size reader. So I'm going to put this in. Let's see what's on that card. It looks like I used this to flash firmware before, so I'm going to go ahead and delete the firmware file. One thing you want to check, and I know because basically all my SD cards are formatted this way, you want to make sure they're formatted in the FAT32 or FAT file system, and the allocation unit size is 4096 bytes. So if you're not sure, just go ahead and do a quick format again just to make sure it's on the right one. Those settings are the settings to use to have the least amount of problems. So you can see here, it built the firmware, took like 50 seconds. And that firmware file is going to be in PIO build, your CPU name, or the environment name, I should say, which in this case is the CPU name. You can see here we have firmware 2022-1216-151550.bin. This name will change every single time you compile. And that's what these processors need, is because every time they flash, their bootloader remembers the last file name. So if it's the same name, it won't try to flash again. If you guys are used to using like our EZBoards, our EZBoard renames a file to firmware.cur from firmware.bin, but I digress. So to get this file, I'm going to right click on this folder here, hit reveal in File Explorer, and it'll pull the folder up. So now I can go in here. I'm going to copy this bin file. I'm going to go to my USB drive and paste it. And then we're going to go ahead and I don't safe eject. I like pulling out without doing safe eject. I just give it a sec, wait for the light to stop flashing, and then I pull the card out. Now we're going to come back over to the printer. So let me get this out of manual focus mode since we're done doing all the close-up stuff, and get this zoom out. And we're going to turn the printer off. Okay. Put it back the right direction. I'm going to put the SD card with the firmware on it into the SD slot on the side of the printer. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it on, and it should flash the firmware if it's behaving correctly. A good giveaway, if it is flashing the firmware, is the logo will take a little bit longer to come up on screen, which it is doing now. So you guys should see the TH3D logo pop up here in a sec. There we go. And 252A, so that's the latest firmware. And it should say EZABL ready. It does. So I'm going to go ahead and double check that the end stop is being detected. To do this without having to hook it up to your computer. Now, you can do this with the M119 test, or you can just do it with the printer itself. So to do that, move the bed all the way down, okay? Or most of the way down, and then tell it to auto home. So I'm going to go to motion on the LCD here. You guys can't read it anyways because the viewing angles on these are not ideal. I do like these screens though. Motion, and then I'm going to auto home, which is going to home X, Y, and Z. So you're going to see X, Y, and then I'm going to touch this, and you see how the bed stopped? So that means I don't need to flip that switch on the EZABL board. If you touch the sensor and it doesn't stop the bed, turn the power off and flip the switch and then try it again, and it should be fine. The other thing here, do you notice how my sensor is not actually centered in the bed? That's because I didn't reset my EEPROM. So every time you flash the firmware, you want to reset your EEPROM, and you can do that either through G-code or directly through the printer LCD. The bed's showing errors because it's not connected. So you can go to configuration, go down to reset EEPROM, hit init, it'll beep, and then it's all good. So now I should be able to home the printer. I'm going to go ahead and reconnect my bed. And I'll put the, I'll spare you guys me putting a billion screws into the bottom, but I think you guys can figure out how to put the bottom back on without me showing you that. So I'm going to reconnect the bed. The bed temperature came up. I'm going to go ahead and go to motion and auto home. God, look how dirty that bed is. It's so dirty. It's just dusty. All right. Alcohol makes the job much more pleasant. You're not wrong. Okay, so you see there it touched off. And at this point, we're done with the install. Do you notice here how the sensor is actually in the center of the bed now? After I reset my EEPROM. That's one of the reasons we tell you to reset the EEPROM, because your firmware can store old settings in the EEPROM. Now, if I want to check the ABL in terms of full function, I'm going to go to the motion menu and then hit level bed, and it'll auto home again, and then it's going to actually probe the bed. So it'll home Z, and then it's going to do a 3x3 grid. Look how fast that is. And that's not even the super fast probing. Now, it may not look like it's not probing that much of the bed. You got to remember, a lot of this bed actually can't be printed on because of the printer's physical setup. So, Creality put an oversized bed on this for some reason. All right. So there we go. Now, if we want to fine tune, I'm going to show you guys, we're going to get into the tuning side of things of stuff I like to do with mine. So when I have an oversized bed like this, I do like to probe a little further out instead of the default settings. So if I go back in my configuration file, I'm going to see if this printer can do the super fast probing. So see this probe edge here? Since this printer can actually go closer to the edge is not actually the physical edge of the bed, it's the print volume. And in this case, this printer has a bigger print volume, or a smaller print volume than the bed. So the bed is 280 by 280. I believe this is only 250 by 250. So we got 30 millimeters excess. So I can bring that probing area in quite a bit. Or bring it out, I should say. But in, I mean, like in terms of more coverage. So I'm trying to find my settings here. They're up further. So we're going to see if this printer can run super fast probe. I don't know if it will. It might be able to with the Tiny Machines bed kit on there. If you guys want to increase your probing points, you can change this from a 3 to a 5 or 7 or whatever. I just do a 3x3 to be honest. Unless my bed's really warped, 3x3. So if you do this, this is, you know, it's 3x3. So you just put a 3 here. It's using that for X and Y. So, and then this is the probe edge. I'm going to set this to 10. I think that'll be fine on this since, like I said, this bed is physically larger than the printer. And to check this, I'm just going to check here where it homes. I've got about a good 15 millimeters on the X on the left side, and I'm seeing where it is on the back. Yeah, we got quite a bit of bedroom. So I think 10 will be good. And this is what I mean by just testing things and tuning. So I'm going to turn the super fast probe on. You don't have to disable this. Basically, if this is enabled, it overrides this. So probe edge to 10. We're going to set the EZABL points to 3. And then you know what? I'm gonna just mess around, and I don't usually use a PID bed. I really don't feel like it, to be honest. All right, I'm gonna call this here. I like to use the custom printer name. I'm gonna call this Tim's E7. We're gonna call this V1. Okay. And so that'll give me a custom name on there. I'm just trying to think of any other features I like playing with. Oh yeah, I have extra space on this board, so I can actually turn on some of the little hidden features we have. These extra configuration.h values, like here, the fancier heating icons. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my configuration file, and it'll just give us fancier icons. And I usually put these, anything custom I do, I add right below the printer model, and I'll put like a comment here like Tim's added stuffs. So that'll add fancier heating icons because we got the space on the board. I don't need to change any of this other stuff. I'll put games on here. I think this will handle the games. Let's see. Because we're only at 31% usage. So let's go ahead and recompile this. That'll probably take about 50 seconds. So how's everybody doing today? Let me go ahead and pull up chat here. I just finished my balls. I'm cheating on maw today. I still have my maw. I actually just sent Tor a bunch of maw. I just didn't feel like mixing one up right now. I had a ball sitting in my truck. I was like, I'm going to grab that and drink that. We're already an hour and a half into the stream. Holy cow. Let's see. I think this will have enough room for the games. And I'm going to turn the printer off right now in preparation for this. And put the card back into my computer. Let's see. Do we have enough room? Oh, yeah. We have enough room for the games mode. I believe that still enables it. Let me just search games mode. I don't think I got rid of it. Yeah, if enabled games mode. Yep. That should turn it on. I don't know why the live preview. So there we go. Status heat percent, games mode. All right. Again, let's go ahead and reveal in File Explorer. Now, I don't know if it's going to have 2 bin files. So if you ever have 2 bin files in here after you compile, you got to sort by date modified and grab whatever one has the latest timestamp. So in my case, I only have 1, but sometimes that does happen. VS Code doesn't clear out the last one. So let me go ahead and pull that out. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in, and we're going to reset the EEPROM again. Every time you flash your printer firmware, reset the EEPROM. Every time. Even if you're going from the same version, just reset it. Trust me. Where were the additional commands on the website? Yeah, so these are extra configuration.h commands. It's on our help center under Unified Firmware, Unified 2 Firmware, Info, and other downloads. And you'll see here extra configuration.h settings. And these are just little bonus settings. Looks like Krista's home. So there we go. We can tell it flashed because it says Tim's E7 V1 ready. I'm going to go ahead and reset my EEPROM. And let's see if this will actually do the super fast probing. I have no idea. If it does, it'll just work. If it doesn't, the bed's going to make a horrible grinding sound because the motor isn't fast enough. So let's see. Ooh, it might be. Let's see. Let's see how fast we can get this to probe. So this should have a super fast probing on. It seems like it moved a little bit quicker. All right, so I'm going to do level bed. So you got a nice tighter probing area. Oh, look at that. BL Touch users are seething right now. They didn't know you could probe this fast. Look at that. Amazing. Now, let me see how the accuracy is. So I'm going to go on the printer here. And we do actually have a built-in probe test on our firmware. And this works with EZABLs. It works with BL Touches. But if we go to motion, or actually, hang on. Let's see if we have the games here. I think it's under About Printer. Yeah, we have games. I can play games on my printer here. Yeah. Look at that. Okay, let's see what high score I can get. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to make you guys watch that. Anyways, let's go to motion, and we're going to run M48 test. And this is going to home the printer and then do a probe test. So if you just leave it here, it will go back to menu, or you can just go back manually, and it'll say it begins a probe test. There we go. Look at that, it's doing it. Look how fast it's probing. The question is this printer going to have good probing accuracy at this high of a speed? And I think the answer is, what do you guys think? What do you guys think the M48 test came out with? What do you guys think it came out at? What do you think it is? Come on. I know there's a delay. Solid bed mounts. I don't think the solid bed mounts will fit on this printer. Oh, look at that. Filament on fire. You're the closest. There we go. So look at that. It's live. Oh, look at that. At 15 millimeters a second. 0.001911. Yeah. Our shit's accurate as shit. Look at that. All right. So, I mean, that's it. The install's done. I got the Meanwhile power supply in there. We just got that. Let me go ahead and slice up a file. So I'm going to use my, I'm going to use the old S3D because the new one is hot garbage. Absolute hot garbage. And this is the only time you guys will see me printing from an SD card because I use Octoprint, which we might be doing a pre-order on the new Octoprint kits. And would anybody be interested in doing a pre-order on the new Octoprint kits when they're ready to launch? Everything's looking great so far. We're just finishing up the enclosure design. And I'm also thinking about doing accessories for the new ones where we'll have like a 2020 extrusion clip. So like you can get just the box that you just set on the desk next to your printer, or 2020 extrusion clips, like to clip it into your extrusion with like mounting hardware, and then or just little feet to stand it up vertically. But would anybody be interested in doing a pre-order on those? It looks like we're probably going to be targeting a price right around like $170 to $180 on these. The boards on those are, unfortunately, after shipping and taxes, just the circuit board, not any of our labor, the cases, the power adapter, SD card, all the other stuff. Just those boards are going to be costing about $80 to get them to us. So, but it's better than not having them. Anyways, I was just curious. Because then what we can do is we can gauge interest, and we're getting these boards from the US, so we can get them in about 3 to 4 days. So it'd basically be pre-order, a week later, we'll get them shipped. So anyways, do I have an Ender 7 profile? I do not have an Ender 7 profile, but I do have an Ender 6 profile, and they're very similar. So I'm going to roll with my Ender 6 profile. We're going to do 10% infill. I'm just going to leave all these settings because my Ender 6 profile is pretty good. So I just think the build volume, 250 by 250 by 400, the X and Y is really all that matters. Yeah, we're just going to see how this comes out because this profile for my Ender 6 actually is really good. So make sure I turn supports off. They're off. Go ahead and prepare to print. Actually, I want to see this go fast. So let's set our temps. 230 would be good. I'm going to use our new spaghetti filament. How many of you guys saw our new filament that we released? And how many of you guys actually ordered it? So I'm going to tell it to do, well, I don't know how the spaghetti's going to come out at high speed. I've done like 60 to 80. I can always turn the feed right up. All right, we're going to do 80 millimeter a second slice. I'm going to save this. I'm going to put this on my hard drive and then copy this over. There we go. So put that on the SD card. And we're going to preheat this sucker. Oh, I almost forgot. What did I forget to mention? Now, my Ender 6 profile already has it, but what did I forget to mention about the EZABL setup? How many of you guys caught that I didn't mention this? Anyone? Anyone? What did I forget to mention? The Z offset, we're going to get to that on the first print. The starting G code. So if you guys are if you guys are installing our EZABL, you have to update your starting G code. So my Ender 6 profile, because I have the EZABL on there, already has it. So make sure you update your starting G code. It's on our website. It's actually in the installation guide. You should be following the installation guide. Don't ever follow our videos, especially these casual Hangout streams, as a de facto installation guide. They're not. You can use it. They're good for like getting an idea of where things go and how I mounted things to get ideas. I do that all the time. But yeah, don't rely on that. So I got my benchy here. I'm going to pop that SD card in. And this is probably my favorite filament, is the cherries and berries, which is one of the 2-color ones. These guys, look at that. This is a 2-color silk. I really like this filament. So, and we're going to go ahead and get the other filament out of here. It looks like it broke. So, you guys ever have to do this? You have filament sitting in a printer for too long? It's probably been here for a couple months. So, no matter what brand of filament you have, if you let it sit in the printer for a couple months, it's probably going to end up getting brittle. So, all right. So, go ahead and cleared that out. If you notice, I have not changed the extruder out on it. I probably will put our new Tough Extruder V2 on here. I just haven't gotten to it yet. All right. So, this is actually the spool I printed the maker coin off that's in the product photo. So, I'll go ahead and feed it through the filament sensor. Get that into the printer. I hate these Creality filament sensors. They like hang up. All right, I hear it in the nozzle. Now, I usually like to flush out about 100 millimeters of filament, so I'm going to go do that on my LCD here. Move extruder, move axis, and we're going to do 100 millimeters, and then I'm going to print this. All right. So we should be pushing the filament out here. Look at that. And then I'll show you guys how to set the Z offset in real time. This is how I set my Z offset. We have certain directions for setting your initial Z offset in the EZABL guide, but once you guys have done it a couple times, it's really easy to do it. So you guys are probably like wondering, oh my god, it's bubbling up over the nozzle. I want it to do that so it pulls any crap that's stuck on the nozzle off. I'll move the Z down. Once it's done doing the extruder move, it'll move the Z down. Should be almost done. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and get that out of here. All right, and we're going to start the print. Print from SD, Benchy. Do I want to print it? Yes, I do. So the status heat percent thing, I'll show you what that is. So do you see on the hot end, now I preheated it to 200. Do you see the little icon here? If this was from cold, like room temperature, it would actually slowly fill up the nozzle and the little bed bar would slowly fill up. So that's what that does. That status heat percent. It just gives you fancier icons. That's all it does. I like it. And if you got the extra memory, like if you have our EZBoard V1 or V2, or you got a Creality board with 512K CPU, you can enable fun stuff like that. So now, after this probes, I'm going to do what's called baby stepping, which is where I press this button twice, and then it'll bring up a menu, and I'll turn the knob, and that'll set the distance between the nozzle and the bed. And I'm going to try to get in here and show you guys, because I usually do it on the skirt. So it should print it like right about here for the Benchy. I'm pressing the knob twice. I got the Z offset baby step menu up on the screen. And so it's going to do the purge line on the left here. And I can see it's a little high, so I'm going to step it down a little bit over here to kind of get an idea. I'm going to wait for it to get over to the other side. I'm getting the shmoo off that's the purge line not sticking because my Z offset is not set. All right, so it's way too high. I'm going to go down. And you see it didn't stick. But that's okay. Now it's sticking. So I'm at like negative 1.125. I'm going to go up just a tiny bit. I will say the one thing I don't like about these Creality boards is if you're printing from SD, the LCDs do not update very fast. You can see here, it's just ignoring me right now because it's actually doing printing. I've noticed this on the Creality boards because these processors are so slow. You can see there it finally caught up. But it's when you're printing from SD, these boards run really slow. Like our Easy boards don't do this. It's just the Creality boards. They just run slow when you're printing off of the SD card. So, but printing over USB is fine. I believe it has something to do with the bus. Like the bus that the SD card uses is also, I think it's shared with the LCD, if that makes sense. I'm trying to get in here to show you guys the print, but I think I might have to go to manual focus here. Hang on. Bear with me just a moment. There's not a good way to get in there and see. But she's printing. It's about as close as I can get it. But you can see the shmoo from the first layer. But I am going to go and press the LCD menu. I'm going to go to configuration. And then store settings. All right, I got the confirmation beep. And that now my Z offset stored. So if I stop the print and start it over again, it'll actually, what's the word I'm looking for? It will actually have the Z offset. So I'm going to crank the speed up a little bit here. Can you guys see the bed moving up and down? That's the auto bed leveling system compensating. Can you guys see the bed moving up and down? That's not vibrations. That's the Z motor moving the bed up and down as it prints to compensate for the bed not being perfectly level. I think this is the first bench I printed with the spaghetti. I was just printing maker coins. Oh yeah, I printed a Cali Dragon on here. I still have them. They're sitting over here. Can you guys see the Z-axis moving while it's doing the compensation? Oh yeah, we do have our Winter Printerland contest. If you guys have been following us, there is a contest going on where you can win a $100, $50, and I think $25 gift card to the shop. Let me see here. I will post a link. We really need to make a link for this on the actual site. I meant to mention that. But here we go. If you guys want to join the contest, there you go. It's $100, $50, and $25, and the entries close on December 31st. And the print volume is 165 by 165 by 165. And you can also submit your prints. So we'll be doing a stream here. So there we go. Winter Printerland contest. How's that? So if you guys want to, I'm not going to slant it, but I'm just saying we have a lot of cool filaments that would make some awesome Christmas prints. So while we're waiting for that Benji to go, let's just check this out. So if we go to filament here on our website, we did change how everything's organized. So we got multicolored filaments, matte filaments. We got TPU now, glitter filaments. So let's just go through. These are like the three main ones that I'm really excited about. So we've got different glitter ones. We got a green, a blue, a purple, and like a dark green. So we call this UFO, Nebula, Stardust, and Meteor. And these are actual test prints that I did. These are not renders like other companies like to do. These are actual pictures of the spools and actual prints from the spools. So you can see what it looks like printed. We also have multicolor matte filaments. So 2 colors in 1 filament. Out of these, my favorite's probably the Joker and Periwinkle. We've got a bunch of ones. This one's Bernie the Dino because it looks exactly like Barney the Dinosaur, but I don't want to get a copyright claim, so we're calling it Bernie the Dino. It looks just like Barney the Dinosaur's colors. Look at that. And then the Joker PLA, I figured that was fitting. The purple and the green. It looks freaking sharp. And then the Periwinkle. I like the Periwinkle. So, and if they're like the dual color or tricolors, we have 2 angles of the maker coin. This is what I'm printing right now, is the cherries and berries. See that? That's what's printing right now. And then we've got other ones. So Sahara Night is actually one of the more popular ones. This is Sean's favorite. He actually named this one too. Look at that. So this is triple filament. So if you guys look here, I did really good job with the product photos. You can actually see the cross section of the filament. So there's a gold, blue, and a yellow in this filament. And it's also silk. So if you guys are wondering what Spaghetti is, Spaghetti is our premium line of filament. We also have, if you guys like ones that transition colors throughout the roll, we have those as well. We have 3 different ones of those and a glow-in-the-dark transition one. So this Enigma, it changes so it looks clear in the daytime, and then it goes from like green to blue to like a purple, pink, yellow, and then back. So rainbow glow in the dark. We've worked really hard to find a lot of these cool filaments. So if you guys want something that looks nice, and we don't want, you don't want something basic, we still do carry coax. Coax is still one of my favorite ones. We do still carry basic colors from them. But if you guys want something that's really cool, check out our Spaghetti filament line. We also have carbon fiber PETG and ABS in that line. And then if you guys want a more budget filament, our Easy Choice filament line is our budget one. And we got some cool ones in there. Like we have a nice copper one, and then we have copper silk. We also have some nice PETGs, some nice ABSs. This one looks really cool. The pictures don't do this justice. The Frost ABS, it's like a translucent ABS. And then the electric lime and the raveberry ABS, these glow under, not glow like as in glow in the dark, but they react to UV light, so they pop. But yeah, we've also got TPU. We've got dad shorts here. And I do want to say that we do not include white New Balances with the dad shorts. You have to buy those on your own. But yeah, so if you guys have any suggestions for any of the film lines, especially expanding our budget line, if you guys want to see some more basic colors, because obviously you can see we got really good prices on these, let us know. So, but let's go back to the print. She's still going? Yeah, she's still going. Look at that. She printing. So that's it. I mean, we've got the EZABL installed. It's not that hard. I've done it a million times. I probably make it look easy. But this printer is going to go downstairs in my other office because I don't have a printer of my own down there. Krista's got her Ender 2 Pro. I might end up upgrading her to this one if she wants it. But she is kind of fond of her Ender 2 Pro. But this one does have a bigger build volume. Oh, no, we'll have to see. So, I mean, who in chat actually has an Ender 7? I'm curious. We're just going to kind of chat and hang out right now and shoot the shit while we're waiting for this to print. Because once this is done, I'm going to wrap the stream up. I am going to push this a little harder. So we're 10 minutes in. We were at 125% feed rate. And they advertise this printer being able to do like crazy, super, ultra fast speeds, okay? So, let's see what we can get it to do. I do hear it vibrating a little bit. Ignore that filament down there. You see that the filament down there? That was because I was setting the Z offset and that part didn't stick. But I'm just probably going to throw this away. the benchy, not the printer. Let's see. Joe's got one. Joe Velasco, have I ever met you in person? Because I knew a guy years ago with that name. When I lived back in Illinois, or is it just a coincidence? Okay, just a coincidence then. All right, hang on. I wanted to grab something real quick. All right, so I think the last thing we need to do... All right, speaking of mods, the last thing we need to do is take care of this front piece here. Why will this not zoom out? There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and take care of this front piece. I'm joking. I'm not an idiot. Oh. I might modify it later, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna plan it out a little bit better and not just take a hacksaw to it because we're raging at the printer. I mean, it's actually keeping up with the higher print speeds. I'll give it that. You can really see the ABL compensation going. She's going. The infill looks all right. I mean, it's not going to do the claims that Creality does, but it seems to print pretty well. You also got to remember, too, the silk filaments are not an ideal material to print at higher speeds, just because if you guys ever printed the silk filaments, they kind of like encapsulate themselves, if that makes sense, even as they're being extruded. I don't know how to explain it other than like regular filament, if you really crank the temp to it, gets really molten and like liquidy, and this stays in kind of like this elastic state, which is why like silk filaments don't typically have as good layer adhesion as regular filaments. Now, these, surprisingly, the ones we have, I was very impressed with the strength of them. They are going to be a little bit weaker than your standard PLAs, but, you know, for example, I printed with, I think it was Polyalchemy, and theirs were very, very weak. They were very brittle. So, but Yeah, these ones are pretty good. I'm gonna stop this just because I want you guys to see. I'm gonna let this finish this layer. I don't feel like sitting here waiting for this to finish because I do have other things to do today. But I hope this showed you guys, you know, gave some ideas and confidence to put the ABL kit on your printer. So let's see. Let me stop this. All right, because I want to show you guys how this looks. Oh, that actually stuck. I'm surprised. Typically, these don't like to stick to these plates. Let me see here. Where's my scraper? Because we're just going to toss this. I'm going to get out my old BuildTech scraper. I haven't used that thing in ages. All right. Go back to autofocus here. All right. So ignore the part where the Z offset setting was happening because that kind of got in the way. But look how cool that looks. So look, there's one side of the benchy. There's the other side. Look at that. Ah, I might actually have to print a full benchy with this. If I didn't have other stuff to do today. Oh, should I print a Cali Dragon in this filament? What do you guys think? Maybe I'll do that and have Krista post videos and stuff to our socials. Ooh. Print quality's pretty good. Just with my Ender 6 profile. There we go. Look at that. That nice first layer. Oh, I got my Z offset dialed in. All right. Well, I won't talk your guys' ear off too much longer. That's it. We got the EZABL on here, and that means I'll actually start using the printer because I hate manually leveling my bed. I think I might. I think what I might do is, since the solid bed mounts won't fit on this printer because it'll hit the bed brackets, I think just the spacers, because this printer already has strain relief on it for the bed cable. I think just the spacers will fit fine. So I'll probably go run out to the shop and steal some of those. I don't know if anybody would be interested in us just putting spacers on the website separate from the solid bed mounts, but the same kind of spacers we use for the bed mounts that have like the strain relief and the camera arms, versus just going to your hardware store and getting some. I totally get it. But if you guys would like to see a pack of spacers on our site, let me know. I could take some photos and put a product page together for a couple bucks. So, but let me know. Can I add LEDs to the printer and control them? Absolutely. Yeah, there's extra outputs on this board. There's 2 on the programming header. It's actually the same. I think I have the pins documented. Hang on. I got to flip this up. Oh, wait, the filament's on here. I think I have it documented already on our site. Let me check. I thought I did. Let me check. But yeah, there's extra I/O pins on this board, so you can run like our EasyNeo. So the EasyNeo lighting kits we have. I do not have an Ender 7 mount for them. But actually looking at this in the front here, there's no belts in the front. You could throw them just right in the front to go across the bed. I didn't realize that there's no belts in the front here. So you could just put them right in here. Put some double stick tape on there and stick them on the inside of here. They're actually designed to go on 2020 extrusion, but you can bolt them up to whatever you want. I might have to, maybe I'll put some, maybe I'll make a mountain fusion, just like clip it onto here. Because I am going to put EasyNeos on here. And I'll do another stream when I do that. I promise. I'm not going to do it offline. I will do another one. Let me see. I don't think I have it documented, but I know it's the same pinout that's on the 422 and the 427s. There's 2 pins on the programming header, and the programming header is right by the LCD header. It's that 4-pin header. Let me pull up the Ender 7 firmware. And I can show you because I have a picture of the board on the Ender 7 firmware page. So here we go. I'm logged into the back end on this, so it takes a sec to load because it's loading all the admin crap. So what I mean by that is, so here's a picture of the board. I know I saw the programming header on here somewhere. Where is it? It's usually by the LCD. Oh yeah, it's right here. So the LCD header is right here, which you can see stock. It's not soldered on. If you guys watch the installation kit for the LCD, we include this header and you just tack it on. This header is a programming header. This has 2 I/O pins on it, and it's the same order as the ones on the 422 and the 427 boards. So I have to figure this out myself when I put the EZNeos on here. But to give you guys a point of reference, if I go to Creality Firmware and like, oh wait, no, not Creality Firmware, product information, EZNeo, and then it's the 422, 427, 431. Right here. So they're not labeled, but I believe it's the same. You see how it's in the same layout here? So PA13, PA14, these two internal ones. I will test these and document them. I just have not gotten around to it, but I will be putting the EZNeos on this printer. So, but yeah, it's the same processor. This board is basically the same as this one. They just changed the layout for some godforsaken reason. But essentially they're very similar. There's some slight I/O pin changes. And like they got the offboard drivers, but for all basic purposes, they're very, very similar to the point where the firmware is not that much different. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this programming header has 2 extra pins here. You also, I totally forgot, you also have them on the BL Touch header here. So this BL Touch header actually has 2 I/O pins. You can come off of there. This header here is for the filament sensor. That one's already used. So basically you've got the same thing on here. So PB0, PB1, I think it's the same on the Ender 7. We'll find out. So it sounds like I need to do another Ender 7 one for the EZNeo edition, because I put, at this point on all of our printers when I build them, if I do a new printer, I put our EZABL kit on it, I solid mount the bed, whether that's using our solid mounts if the printer can take them, or sourcing hardware from like the hardware store, or, you know, my junk bins to get rid of the springs to solid mount the bed. In this case, I'm just going to take the spacers that we use to, you know, we have an arbor press and we press those in on the printed parts, but they won't fit with the printed parts on them. So, but they'll fit without the printed parts. So ABL solid bed mounts. If it doesn't have a filament sensor, I add one. I usually at some point will change out the extruder from whatever is stock to our Tough Extruder V2. And then I put on the EZNeos for lighting. Am I forgetting anything? Oh yeah, the Easy Flex, which I have for this printer. I'm just not going to get around to doing that today just because everything else going on. But this printer is a 280 by 280 bed, and so the closest size we have for this is 290 by 290, and it will fit just fine in this printer. So the other thing is, I don't know if it's going to fit with the new Dual Z kit. I might have to go to a 260 by 260 plate, because it's a 250 by 250 print area. Yeah, it looks like the Tiny Machines Dual Z kit is going to interfere with this. Oh, that's a bummer. I'm going to have to find a different plate size. Because before I put the Dual Z kit on, this cleared just fine. Well, that makes me sad. Womp womp. Unless I take the bearing holders off, I don't know if I need those. I think I do. I think I do, to hold the Z-rods. Oh, yeah, I do, because otherwise they'll come out. So, anyways, I'll figure it out. But just because this printer was not a very popular one, I'm not going to go and get a bunch of plates cut. Tiny Machines does sell 280 by 280 plates. Maybe I'll throw him a bone and I'll buy his plate, because I have magnets, and our magnets will work with his plates. So maybe I'll order one of the Tiny Machines plates. So anyways, I think that'll wrap this up. Where's my chat going? I see LEDs and spacers in my future. Trim the plate. Yeah. I have a magnet here. So the magnets, you can obviously just trim these magnets. There, you can cut these down with scissors. But yeah, I'm probably going to order his plate then. I'll use my magnet and his plate. How's that? So, but yeah, we got to give the doggo his treat. He's been a good boy. Remo's out here. Do you notice how it's been quiet even though he's out here? Because he's not a little terrorist like the puppy. Yeah, you were a good boy. Your brother's annoying. Yeah, he is super annoying. We're going to give you 2 of them. You want 2 of these? Do you want 2 of these? Can we sit? Come here. Sit. Sit. Shake. Speak. Yeah, good boy. There we go. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna make those clips because if you looked on the inside of this, there's like ridges. I could easily design something that just friction fits, like you just shove it onto there, and screw the strip to that. I think that's the. What do you guys think? I think that's the clearest cut way to do it. That'd be nice and clean. I definitely think put in there and have it like angle the lights just at like a slight angle. Like on the Ender 6, we have those mounting blocks. Instead of just putting it straight at the bed, it tilts it down a little bit so as the print gets lower. You can still see it, but dear God, having lights on your printer, even if they're just cheap white lights that you slap on there, to see the first layer, it makes a huge difference. It's like a quality of life improvement, and they're cheap. If you guys want to pick up our Easy Neo strips, they're like $15, and they include all the wiring, a bunch of hardware to mount it, Allen keys, and fun stuff. So, anyways, I hope you guys have an awesome day. It's currently snowing here, but it's Friday, so I'm going to wrap up some work here, and then go get some stuff done on my truck. So I will talk to you guys later, and as always, happy printing. I will see you guys on the next one. I gotta get my Stream Deck set up. I did not realize how much I used it. Manually clicking these really sucks. Bye-bye now.